everybody, it's Emily
and Sarah,
and we're going to be doing a fun reading vlog this week. Sarah has been dying for the last year to do another Sarah Picks My TBR video vlog, and so I finally gave her the go-ahead, and so she's got a bag of books she's going to present me. Her trick-or-treat
bag.
Yeah, her trick-or-treat bag of fun. So, alright, let's do this. Go ahead. Show me what you got. We have very different reading tastes, so I have no idea what she's about to present me with.
I've tried to pick books that I think you'll actually like. Well,
really though?
I tried.
Okay, let's see.
Book number 1 is...
Oh hey, I actually do want to read that, so...
Loveless by Alice Oseman.
Nice.
So what do you know about this book?
Literally just that it's a contemporary and that the main protagonist is asexual.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually a book that I did want to read, and I keep meaning to go get it out of your room, and I always forget about it when I pick my TBRs, so perfect.
Now you have to read it.
Now I have to read it, so awesome. Okay. Yay, so we're doing good so far.
Book number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond
this
the
one
Black
I don't
Door
know much
by
about.
A.M. Strickland.
Is this fantasy?
Mm-hmm.
It's fantasy.
This is YA fantasy. It also has an asexual main character.
I do like the cover.
And also, a lot of people have compared it to the romance in this book with the Goblin King and Sarah from Labyrinth. Those kind of vibes. So I thought maybe that could hook you a little bit.
Well, maybe. I mean, I like the cover. I like the whole key hole and
I think the magic
spiral
system,
staircase. It's pretty.
It's a really interesting book. I think you might actually like it, but I always say that when it's
dark
YA
fantasy and edgy romance. So, I mean, honestly, I'm not huge on YA fantasy, but Goblin King romance might be something. I don't know. Well,
it's one of my favorites.
You like YA fantasy, though.
And then, are you ready?
I'm ready.
For the grand finale?
I don't know what's
Do you
about
have
to come.
any predictions?
The only thing I could think of was it's either something by V.E. Schwab or it's a Margaret Rogerson. Those are the two that I know you want me to read the most. So I'm thinking it's I'm sure it's Vengeful. So, given the opportunity to force me to read a thing, it's gonna be Vengeful. Oh, I knew it!
Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. You are finally forced to read this book.
Okay.
Get hype.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't dislike the first book, so but to be fair, I don't know if I remember. You might have to give me a recap because I don't. It's been, I don't know, 2 years. Has it been 2 years?
Might have been.
It's been 2 years.
I know. I read them at the very beginning of 2020.
So
it's been around the same time as you.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I kind of knew this was coming. So alright, so out of this, there's one that I did want to read, one that I'm maybe, and one that I'm a little iffy. So it's going to be an interesting week or two. I don't know how long this is going to take me, to be fair. I always want to say I can do this in a week, but realistically, I don't know if I've ever read 3 books in a week, like this before. Usually my 3 books are a middle grade and a read aloud and something I've been reading for a month. So I don't know. We'll see. We're going to go through this together. You guys are going to follow me along as I read. I'm probably going to start with the one that I'm the most excited to read. And honestly, what order? This is probably the order I'm going to read them in, if I'm going to be honest. Because this is the one that I'm the least interested in reading out of this stack. So, maybe it'll be my favorite though. Who knows? I don't know. But I think of these 3 books, the one that I'm the most likely to enjoy is this one.
And it's a pretty good one.
So yeah. Alright, let's do it. Let's get started. We're going to read Sarah's favorite books this week. Thanks for choosing. I think. welcome to day one of this reading vlog, and please ignore the absolute chaos behind me. My office area is a mess right now. So, starting off, I'm gonna start with Loveless, because this is the book I was already interested in reading anyway, so I figured this would be a good place to start. Also, I found the audiobook for Vengeful on Scribd, and since that was the book that I knew I might have the hardest time getting into, I thought I would go ahead and listen to it. So I'm going to alternate between this and that throughout my day. But I figured I'd start here because I feel confident that I'm going to probably enjoy this book and that I'll be able to read it quickly because I'm enjoying it. It's not going to be a slog. So hopefully none of the books are. I don't know. We'll see. The YA fantasy has me a little nervous too, but I feel like it's been a long time since I've read YA fantasy, so maybe I'll like it now. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, starting here, I'm going to start reading this afternoon. It's Monday morning, and I thought I'd do a quick update. So last night I read, this is backwards. So last night I read some more of Loveless. I'm about, I don't know, 65 pages in so far. Not a huge dent, but I did a lot of work yesterday, so it's fine. But I'm liking this so far. I didn't realize it was British. Somehow this had slipped my mind, or maybe I just never heard that before. So that's awesome. I don't know why I got so excited that it was British. So really liking this so far. I don't have a lot of thoughts because, like I said, I'm only like 65 pages in. I also started the audiobook for Vengeful because I found it on Scribd. So I'm listening to that. I listened to the first chapter this morning. So far, so good. I don't remember much from Vicious. I read it like 2 years ago. So Sarah gave me a brief recap of like what I need to know last night. So I started the audio this morning. I just got a chapter in, and like I said, it's good so far. I'll probably listen to more of that later today. So I'm alternating between these two, and yeah. So far everything is good though. I'm pleased. The last time I let Sarah take over my TBR, she drowned me in YA fantasy, and I went into a reading slump. So I'm pleased that she gave me a good mix this time. So I will update you guys later when I've read some more. Right now it's early in the morning. It's like 8:30. I just ate breakfast. I was listening to the audiobook while I was eating. And I'm about to go wake up Regina so we can get some schooling going because, you know, even though it's June, we still have things to do. We're not done with school yet. So I'm going to go and wake her up, and we're going to try to get some work done this morning. So I'll check back in later when I've read some more. These two nuts, just chaos. I had to send them outside this morning because they were so noisy with their fighting, their play fighting. This is what they do all day, just constantly. My gosh, does anyone else have 2 dogs, and do they behave like this? Is this normal? Or is this like German Shepherd behavior? I don't know. I've never had more than 1 dog at a time, so this is new to me. But this is all day, every day. Sometimes we have to separate them just for some peace. They're happy though. This is all playful. They like each other. They're just constantly at it. My work buddies. Anyway, so popping in Weird Shadows. So I'm popping in quick because I finished reading Loveless. Sarah gave me 3 books to read. It took me a week. I finished this morning, and I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I don't know what I'm going to say to you guys about this book, besides that I enjoyed it. I don't know. This is one of those books that I wanted to read to better understand my daughter, and just to like understand more about asexuality and that kind of thing. I related to nothing in this book. Like I don't relate to this at all, but I found it really interesting to read about. And it helped me to kind of understand Sarah more, which, you know, is what I wanted from this book anyway. So I'm glad that I read it. I gave it 4 stars. I don't really have much to critique about this book. There was something that I don't want to spoil anybody. There was something they did with one of the characters that I thought was going in a way that I liked, and then it didn't. I feel like if I explained it, I'm giving away plot, which I don't really want to do, but whatever. I docked a point for that. But otherwise, I enjoyed it. I liked the story. I loved that it was British, and all of that. I really liked it. So, I have been listening to the audiobook of this, but I haven't listened to it for a few days because I've just been really busy with things where I like had to focus. So I'm hoping to put this on later because I've got some laundry to deal with. So I'll be listening to it while I do that, and potentially while I make dinner. Although that seems to be when people want to come talk to me, so I can't always listen to an audiobook while I'm cooking. But I'm, I don't know, like an hour into the audiobook, so I haven't got very far. But I'm liking it so far. Like, I don't know. We'll see what I think when I'm done. And then I'm going to start this tonight. This is the one I'm the most nervous about because I don't know. I don't read a lot of fantasy. YA fantasy in particular is just like not my thing. But Sarah really wants me to read this, so I'm gonna give it a shot and we'll see what happens. She says it's Goblin King-esque. Like, it feels kind of Goblin King-ish, which does pique my interest. But the thing with fantasy for me is it usually makes it harder for me to get into a story. It takes too long for things to happen because, like, I have to learn a world now. So I don't know, we'll see. It's not a genre I read very often because it takes forever for me to get into it. And this video is already taking longer than it was supposed to. I wanted to be done with it in a week and I'm not. So we'll see. But that is my plan for later today, is to read more of Vengeful and start Beyond the Black Door. So I will let you guys know when I finally finish something so I can check in and let you guys know my thoughts. But so far I feel like this vlog, reading wise, is going well. Like, I really liked the first book. So we're off to a good start. I did some reading this evening and I am now 3 chapters in to Beyond the Black Door. I don't know yet what my thoughts are really. I feel like I'm just starting to get comfortable with the world building that's happening here. It is YA, so it's not quite as like deep as like an adult fantasy would be, but you know, it still takes some adjustments, you know, getting used to the different names and things that are going on. All I can really say is that our main character is able to go inside people's souls while they're sleeping, I think, and like, this is a thing her mother did and she learned it from her, and there's a black door that she's not supposed to open, so of course she's gonna open the door. Like, obviously that's what this is about. So far I'd say it's fine. Like, it took me the full 3 chapters to like get myself oriented enough to like really focus on the story at hand. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what I think the further in I get, but my initial impressions is it's okay. It's not bad, I'm not disliking it, but I'm just, I'm not like excited about it yet. So I don't know. I want to like this because I feel bad that whenever Sarah gets excited about a book and passes it to me, like when it's YA fantasy, I don't want to be like, ugh, but like, it's just not my genre, I guess. So I'm trying. I'm gonna give it a good try. We'll see. I'm a little nervous that I won't be able to get through this book and that it's gonna put me in a reading slump. But I'm hopeful that that won't happen. Bunny, out for souffle. Enjoy your meal, Hazel Raw. So it's been, I don't even know, it's been forever. I feel like I've been filming this vlog all month. it's like 2.5 weeks into the month and I'm still not done. Like I am 2/3 of the way through Vengeful and I am like, I don't know, 60-ish% of the way through Beyond the Black Door. And it's funny, I was talking to Sarah this morning about it and I basically flipped. I thought I would like Vengeful more than Beyond the Black Door, but this is not the case. I am not hating Vengeful, but I'm kind of like at a point in the story where I'm just kind of over it. I don't know. I'm pushing through the audiobook. I'm almost done with it, so I'm just like, I'm gonna barrel through and I'm gonna finish it. I think I have like an hour and a half left on the audiobook, so I'm gonna make that happen and we're gonna get through that so I can finish it. But I'm liking this so much more than I expected. I think the last time that I really enjoyed a YA fantasy was Ember in the Ashes, and I read that ages ago. And then I kept buying the rest of the series, and I've never read anything else in it. Like, I think I own all but the last book in that series, and I've not read them. But I really like the first one. And I'm finding that I'm really enjoying this, like, more than I thought I would. So I'm very interested to see where the story goes. Like, this is YA fantasy, but like the main character's 18 and she's in a lot of like adult situations and it doesn't really feel like YA. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. There's also no love triangle, which is, you know, a big pet peeve of mine in YA fantasy a lot. But it's really well written. I do like nitpick if I'm nitpicking. I don't like the character names are all like hard to pronounce. And I'm not sure how you're supposed to say them. And there's no audio for this, so I have no idea what they're supposed to sound like. So I'm probably saying them all wrong in my head, but whatever. But aside from that, I'm like really intrigued by this plot line, and I'm still like hoping to uncover more about like what was actually going on. What is this black door, and like why is it in her soul room, whatever? Why doesn't she have a soul? Like there's a lot of interesting questions that I'm hoping to get answers to. There's a lot of political intrigue and like spying, and it's really interesting and I'm really liking it. I like that the world is like not overly complicated, so it's easy for me to get into it. There's a lot of fantasy where I just get so lost in the like figuring out what the world's supposed to be like, and there's a lot of info dumping and stuff. So this was pleasantly surprising that I just like got into it pretty quickly, and I'm really enjoying the story. So So I just did like a marathon read session and I finished Vengeful. I think I read like 150 pages tonight. I did the audiobook at 3 times speed to get through, but I did it. I don't know. I think this series just isn't for me. I liked the first one okay. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars, maybe. I'm not sure. This one I gave 3 stars. And by the end, I was just powering through. I just wanted it to be over. I don't know what it is. I think if I had to like analyze it, I would say this feels more action movie-ish to me, and that's just not a thing that I enjoy. There's a lot of action happening, and I felt like not a lot of character stuff. I didn't feel a connection to anybody. I kind of liked 2 of the new characters we got in this book are Marcella and June. I like June's character a lot. I feel like she's probably the only character in the book that I felt like any kind of connection to. Marcella was interesting. I liked her whole vengeance storyline, but June was more interesting. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not for me. I'm sorry, Sarah. This series, I'm probably not going to read the next book. I think there's supposed to be a 3rd book at some point. I don't see myself reading it, but it's fine. It's just not for me. So, but I read it, so there's that. I did make it all the way through. I didn't DNF it, so I'm going to try to finish Beyond the Black Door tomorrow, because I think I have somewhere in the realm of 120-ish pages left. So I think I can do that. And then I'll be done with this vlog. Decided to come outside because it's really pretty out today. I've read all 3 books. I just finished reading. Let me get down here in the shade a little bit so I can see. So I just finished reading Beyond the Black Door, and let me tell you, what a surprise that I actually enjoyed that. I gave it 4 stars. Maybe one of my favorite YA fantasies who am I? Anyway, I thought it was very good. I liked the characters. I enjoyed all of the intrigue. I'm a sucker for really good political intrigue and like twists and turns, and we're figuring things out as we go, and like I loved that. It was really well done in this story. I don't really want to talk about the plot a whole lot because I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to give spoilers, so I'm not going to go into details, but I just thought it was really well done. The writing was very good. There was romance, but it wasn't like romance heavy. And I really liked the dynamic between the love interest character and our main character. I don't know how to say anyone's names, so I'm not even going to try. but I really liked all of the dynamics between the different characters and their friendships and their relationships and everything. I really liked getting to know about the world, which was interesting, but it wasn't convoluted like some fantasy can be. It was pretty easy for me to follow what was happening and who was doing what and soul walking and all of those kinds. It made sense and it wasn't overly complicated, which to me made it really, really easy to fall into the story. One of my big pet peeves with reading fantasy is that it takes me so long to get invested because I have so much of a learning curve trying to figure out everything. So I really like when I pick up a fantasy when the world building is easy to get into, and I found that it was in Beyond the Black Door. So gave it 4 stars. I really liked it. I'm impressed that there was a YA fantasy. I told Sarah that I enjoyed it and she was like, I did not expect this. So yeah, surprise.
Oh no, the sun came out.
The sun just came out. Okay, so we're back for our final wrap up. The dogs are all over us, so hopefully they get distracted. And the sun just chose to come out. We purposely decided to film out here because it was a little overcast. Oh, it went away. Okay, for now. Okay, so we're ready to wrap up this vlog. Sarah has all the books and we're going to go through each book one at a time and we're going to kind of go through our final thoughts about how all of this went. So let's start with Loveless.
So the first book I chose for you to read was Loveless by Alice Oseman. I was specifically, when putting together this TBR, trying to have variety in here a little bit. I don't know if you noticed, but I specifically chose 3 books with asexual representation.
I did notice
kind of
this.
The theme
This was a theme we had. Yeah, I caught the theme pretty quickly.
Yeah, but since I remember last time we did one of these, they were all YA fantasy, and I
burned out so hard.
So I was trying really hard to have variety in my selections.
I appreciated that a lot. Thank you for the variety. It was much easier.
Yeah, so this was my choice for a contemporary, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay, so I really liked this. I gave this 4 stars. It was fast-paced. I was able to just breeze through it pretty much. I liked most of the characters. I mean, I didn't dislike Rooney. I didn't like what they did with Rooney's character in the story. I just, if you've read it, you'll understand. But I don't know. I felt like that didn't work for me as well as everything else did. But I really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the commentary on what asexuality and aromanticism are, and figuring out that kind of thing about yourself. I enjoyed all of that. I found it very interesting, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a lot more thoughts than that, but I enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 stars.
I'm being blinded.
I know, it's very bright all of a sudden. Sorry.
So the next book you read was Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. I've been trying to get you to read this for
I know
2 years.
Yeah.
And
because I read Vicious about 2 years ago.
Yeah. So basically, as soon as I knew that I was allowed to make this TBR, I was like, this is the first book I've chose.
I had a feeling it would be.
This is happening.
Yeah.
So.
And I read it.
Yeah.
And it was a book. I mean, I don't hate it. I didn't DNF it. I didn't despise it or anything like that. I wasn't hate reading. I was just pushing through to be done with it. I talked about this earlier in the vlog, but for me, I think my problem with this series overall is that it is very plot driven and very action heavy, and it feels to me more like an action movie than anything else. And it's rare for me to like an action movie. I think the only action movies I've enjoyed are like the Marvel movies, and not even all the Marvel movies, just certain Marvel movies. So like, that's not my thing, and that's what this feels like as I'm reading it. There were characters that I liked. Like, I appreciated Marcella's arc, kind of. Like, I didn't love her as a character, but I found her interesting, her whole vengeance thing. I also really like June as a character, but I felt like we didn't get enough time to like enjoy the characters for who they are and their personalities, because everything was just like rush, rush, rush. We have to get to the next action sequence, and the chapters in this are also really short, so it just feels very kind of choppy and action heavy, and it's just not my thing. So I'm sorry, Sarah, but I don't think I'm going to be reading book 3 in this trilogy. I don't think I can do it.
And then the last book you read, which is honestly the one I thought you were going to like the least, but I wanted to throw in anyway, was Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland. I love this book. It's one of my favorite YA fantasies and one of my favorite YA fantasy authors. So like, I wanted you to read it just to read it, just to see what you thought, and I was very pleasantly surprised that you actually liked it.
I was also very surprised by this book. I went into this with very low expectations. I didn't want to like set myself up to hate it just because I knew it was YA fantasy, and that's not a genre I tend to enjoy. So I went in just like, I'm gonna just try. I'm gonna get myself through this book. I was not allowing myself to DNF it. I had a moment, I think about like 4 or 5 chapters in, where I went, am I ever gonna make it through this book? And I was like, no, I'm gonna keep reading. So I pushed through, and I ended up really liking the story. Like, that came out of nowhere. I did not expect it. Will I read more from this author? I might. I know Sarah's like, you should read another book. And I was like, maybe. I don't want to get too overexcited. But like, I gave this 4 stars. I enjoyed the ride. I liked the world building. I liked the characters. I found it all very interesting to read. And I don't know, I did not expect that at all. So good choice, Sarah. I appreciated it. That I actually enjoyed the books that you gave me this time. You did better. I feel like you knew me better as a reader now. Instead of just like, here are books that I love, you went, here are books that I think you'll love too. And I think that worked better. So, I don't know, I think this was a success. So are you gonna let me pick your TBR next?
I'll think about it.
I think I have some things for you. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. I hope it wasn't too messy, and we're getting blinded, so we're gonna wrap this up. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy reading.
Bye.
Bye.